LannangTalks, sige platform where they'll talk about language, culture. So, for kinay episode ko, we're gonna talk about business.
Especially nan si Chun, no? Lan titigen new normal as si Chun. Lan business-minded Lannang, kay mali adjust pa.
Okay, so para kung mga na first time viewer ko, hun actually touch sige topic ko, tigo na last episode.
Will. Lan tiyon si Pai ukong thauke. Lan ko help lan ng mga viewers, siyong ina business name pa.
Oo nga eh. So, syempre na hingi tulong from mga creator ng So Asian Comics, Kim, Kap Cedric. Actually ko, in masidan guests for hige same episode.
For lan kinay episode, lan masit sige special guest. Denise Sy-Munez of Bilena.
Si hige Chief Sales Cup Marketing Officer ng hige company. Under guidance ko, iho Bilena ka strong social media presence. Imasiw introduce si kwa mga sine fragrance kap mga shade under hige company and cosmetics line.
Aside from itswe sige monumental marketer, imasit sige loving wife, kiyaw mga iya si uti Manila Bulletin, tswe sige columnist. Din takpaylak uhat hang kwantyo iye column. Welcome to LannangTalks, Denise.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, Denise. Okay, so, guna first question ko si di uhat hang kang gun run through. Ditswe sige, Chief of Sales and Marketing. Ditsidit laibin, let's hong shabo.
So on a regular day, usually I wake up at home, then I leave for the office. Actually, since quarantine, I'll start from ano na lang. So basically, during quarantine, our company had to shut down completely. So that ran from March 17 to actually early week of May. So what I usually do now is I really report to work. And at work, we're very much involved with product development, making sure all our products are distributed widely, and making sure the new products that we're creating are actually marketed properly and accepted by our consumers. So I'd say one of the bigger roles though I've taken up while in this position is really looking at ways for how we can innovate or really adjust to the new normal. And I think that's something me and my dad and my uncle, our COO, have really worked together closely with to make sure the company survives long term.
Okay, so para yan sa mga Lannang ko, the family business has always been an integral part of their lives ko. Many of us grew in the tiamlay and even worked during the summers. And of course, the talk of whether one will join the family business or not has always been a very heated topic ko for many Lannang families ko. So, di upat experience tiyo tigebo?
Yeah, well, I went to the US for school, so I went to UC Berkeley. But before that, I went to a community college. When I first graduated in 2014, I had wanted to work in the US for a couple of years before moving back. Because that was my promise to my dad that after he paid for my tuition and everything, I'd eventually come home. But for some reason, in 2014, he didn't allow me to work in the US anymore. So that was where I was kind of debating if I should stay there or come home, especially because I had job offers there already. But my dad talked to me heart to heart saying if there's no one to take over or work with him in the future, then there's actually no reason for him to even continue the business long term because he already saved up enough, the company's already doing well. So parang at the time I think the company was 32 years old because we're 37 this year. But he would tell me the reason why he's really pushing through and really still working hard despite having enough savings already for himself and for our family is because of the people who rely on Bilena for livelihood. So, and that really impacted me because, you know, I was like 21, 22 that time in 2014. So I was really looking at exploring and then working in the US. But when I heard my dad's story and his purpose for continuing and pursuing the business, you know, you kind of feel guilty because somehow you benefited from that. You benefited from the company because, you know, I wouldn't be able to study there without my dad's tuition money, right? So I felt like it was proper for me to go home and really work for my dad and at least give back to him and the company in some way. And so I think when people look at their Sungdi, it's easy to say, you know, my parents are forcing me. It's easy to say, my parents are removing my freedom to choose my job or where I'm, or if, like removing my choice of like where I would work in the future. But I think when you really look at their reasoning and why they want you to work there, and usually Chinese parents, they don't say that. In Boekang din kong, they need you. They won't tell you na you're important. They'll tell you parang, I worked for the company for so long, then you're not gonna give back to me, diba? So parang I think as a child, you kind of feel like oh kanale kyong kyong kwa. So I think looking into what your parents might be insinuating would be very, I think, critical, and I think also having the heart to understand where your parents are coming from, especially because they come from a different generation. And us, we're more aware, diba? We're more sensitive, we're more politically correct most of the time. So I think it's proper to be the better person and really understand the situation, and at least from there kind of see where you can fit in that picture. So yeah.
That's a very nice insight, no, Denise. A lot of times we feel that our parents are forcing us, but it's really good that you were able to, you know, look at it from a different perspective. Yeah. So right now, okay, titun ko ho, len si tsai kyang get ya challenges ko, especially with this new normal coming in. So lan u experience yo jinzui changes ko. And ya zui sungdi si tsai ya kang ko. So family business, especially hoy ka traditional ko, mas you experience yo jinzui hardships. So utsaga uyang tyo sige online platform like zui sungdi, but ya zui ya ko si bo sige online presence ko. For hoy mga le yung online lo, asi in like kwa be kaisi yung sige online zui sungdi ko. Diyo siya mi advice mo behoy.
I think it's actually very easy to get on the online channel as long as your heart already accepts that that's kind of the future. I think I'm trying to think about this in a Chinese business perspective, at least the smaller, the tiamlai type Sungdi. I think kasi usually as a tiamlai, usually you sell in your store to end consumers really quickly or to your family friends, diba? And I think they don't see the opportunity when you sell online because I think some of the hindrances I've heard from others is sanay sila na they're selling in their tiam cow and they're worried na yung Shopee they collect a commission, or I have to pack pa, I have to buy bubble wrap. So parang hassle for one single product. I have to buy bubble wrap, I have to pay commission. So I think they're coming from I get more margin if I just sell it. Tapos I can give discounts pa to my consumers who pass by my store. And if I go online, I have to give up more margin, and I don't even get to give the best prices sometimes to my consumer kasi yung discount sana niya, I have to put it in the Ziploc or the bubble wrap. And I think what they don't see is the possible volume of putting themselves out there. When you go online, you don't necessarily kill your physical stores. So it's really incremental. And I think that's really amazing for those who have never, ever entered online. Kasi in the online world, you get as much as 100% new customers at least every month for as long as you market it properly. You can easily just put on FB ads, and it's very convenient. And I think that will benefit a lot of people without actually harming their current physical stores. Personally, for a while, my dad wasn't actually so open to doing the online selling, not so open to offering our products on Lazada and Shopee. But about 3 years ago, he already allowed us to do that because he was worried that he's investing so much in our physical doors. We're distributed so widely. And paano kung dahil lang sa online, humina yung benta in our physical stores? But we're invested more in our physical stores. Tapos you have physical assets like our fixtures. We have beauty consultants. So what's the point of selling online if it's just gonna kill our retail stores? Was his opinion. But what you've seen is that it's really a different market who shops online. You do have people who would prefer to shop online versus physical stores. And we do have customers who, for example, used to purchase in our physical stores but now convert to online. And so you see that it's really just an additional selling channel, and there's no reason for you to not explore it, especially during this time where a lot of people aren't going out and there's minimal traffic outside and there's so much fear about going out. So it's a no-brainer to invest in your online store, and it doesn't even have to be expensive. You have Shopify, you have Lazada, you have Shopee, you have Carousel, you have Facebook, FB Marketplace. So it's nothing to be so worried about. It's not intimidating. They just have to try it.
Right. Yeah, I have a couple of friends na mas ulay kay silid sa online business ko. I'm just really curious ko. Do you think that there will come a time na like the market will be so oversaturated kasi lahat puro nag-online selling na, especially sa pandemic na to, di ba? Parang will there come a time na parang people will start to realize that parang maybe shifting to fully online might not be the best option or stuff like that?
Well, that's why I mentioned that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that you should be closing your physical stores. I'm saying you should. I'm also not saying that you should shift online, but you do have to create your own online store so that it's incremental to you. Kasi a lot of people, they think na if I go online, I'm gonna lose my physical customers. And you don't have to lose them. You can keep your physical store kasi di tiamlay tihalo, so why close it? Unless lugi yung tiamlay, then don't close it. So ngayon siguro, some of them are stuck with leases, some of them are stuck with rentables, some of them are actually owners of their own land and their own store. So if you're the owner, then you don't have to worry about it. Some people have actually converted their physical stores into like storage rooms. So if your tiamlay is big and there's not a lot of people coming in anymore, then you can convert half of it into a storage area for your online logistics hub, whatever. And then the front part would be where you service your end consumers who are still making the effort to walk to your store.
Right.
So I think it's just about managing your contingencies and really trying as much as you can to maintain as many revenue channels and revenue streams as you can, especially during this pandemic where revenue sources is super scarce. And to answer your question about oversaturation, I don't think it's ever possible for us to oversaturate the market because there's like 100 million people in the Philippines. And if you look at your numbers, it's not even 1 million yet. So if I haven't sold 1 million pieces yet, that means there's so much more that I can be doing because there's 100 million people here. So it's really thinking about it in that sense to like encourage yourself to move forward.
Right. That's actually really good advice, and I'm pretty sure our friends who are watching will appreciate that tip then. Okay, so then balik hige pandemic ko. So during the early stages ko, yat sa mga company ko to see wala cut yung cash flow, di ba? So and because of that, either kay hige company ko either kay lessen hige employee pay or kay retrench yung mga staff ko, di ba? Adyo ko ti April ko, ever Bilena ko mas kung sige dilemma ko to see, pero unlike other companies ko, ever Bilena was able to do something different ko, and yun. So parang based on what I've heard from Jen earlier, you see, you guys have Hello Glow packages that were worth around 9,000 pesos, and then din hohoi mga employees that you see so that they can jumpstart their business ko. And with so mga effort ko, it's very evident na Ever Bilena ko si run by a very kind and very human-centered management ko. And so with this in mind ko, can you tell me more about hige driving force ng mga efforts ko?
So as the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer, I'm really just an employee. So I really just report to my dad still. And it's my dad who makes these big executive decisions of, for example, giving away business packages or giving full salaries. So in April, we actually gave full salaries for all our employees as financial aid to help them get by. And in April, that was actually our highest salary release because on usual months people have tardies, they have absences. So in April, my dad decided he was gonna give everyone full salaries. So I was actually hesitant about his decision at first because, you know, I'm not the owner of the company. I don't handle the cash flow. It's really my dad and my uncle my uncle handles the finances, and my dad is really the owner. So for me as a sales and marketing person, I was like, Dad, walang benta. Parang I don't feel comfortable with you giving it all away kasi parang how will we make up for this in the next couple of months? Kasi we have no sales. Literally, we had no sales in April because we were shut down. So the only sales we had were from the products in the stores, but we didn't replenish anything in April. We did not start replenishing our inventory and trade until May. So my dad would tell me that he was really praying hard before deciding to release it because it's a big sum. We have 1,800 employees, and then he gave everyone full salaries in April. He was telling me that the reason he's still in business is really for these people, and so he felt that it was very important for them to feel like Everblano is still there for them. And then by May, when the quarantine was extended, my dad said, Denise, we can't afford this anymore because I really took out cash from my own savings for the April salary release because we didn't have any revenue, not a lot of revenue coming in April. So in May, he said he felt like it might be more more productive for them to actually have this business package for reselling. So Hello Glow was actually launched in February to our direct sellers. So we did not make it available in retail trade so that our direct selling partners can earn from it by reselling it. And by May, my dad said, before May, we saw that even in April, we had our direct selling partners continually selling Hello Glow online. And these were their inventory from when they first purchased from us in February and March. So my dad was saying, bakit that reseller, she started with us only ordering like 200 pieces, and now she's selling 2,000 pieces. So what does that say about the opportunity? So sabi niya, if you're invested with the reselling opportunity, you can actually make a lot of money and really grow your business like 10 times in just a few weeks, as long as you're really invested in it. So what happened was my dad said, okay, I think it might be better for our beauty consultants, for our employees to receive this package para they learn how to fish. Kasi my dad was also worried if I keep giving them money, they'll think, di ko na kailangan mag-work kasi binibigyan na ako ng ayuda. Pero my dad felt the ayuda in the form of a business package might be more helpful to them in at least teaching them to be more creative in their revenue generating approaches. So my uncle and my dad, we decided to actually ship these to our branches for them to be dispatched to our employees nationwide. We have seen some resellers, some of our employees resign and become full-time resellers, and now they don't only sell Hello Glow, they actually sell other different products. So that's fine. My dad said, well, we lost an employee pero we have developed a new entrepreneur, and that's fine. We do have some employees though na binagsak lang yung presyo para makakuha ng return agad. And unfortunately, not everyone is fit for entrepreneurship. But we were at least able to convert some into effective resellers, especially during this time where we can't deploy everyone. So to be completely honest, we're actually unable to deploy everyone right now because of public transportation issues, poor productivity in stores. And so we're hoping that the Hello Glow package that a lot of our employees were able to receive continue to give them earning opportunities during this time where work is not very available.
Right. And that's actually kind of a good idea, right? Just instead of like lehointi lang ito, kain tuwa biyahe ba para how to catch a fish instead of just giving them the fish itself, right? Because that's more sustainable in the long run, right?
Yes, and I think a lot of what you say Chinese Sungdis can actually benefit from this kind of approach in a way. If, for example, they're new to online, they can actually follow what our resellers are doing. Basically, it's so easy. What our resellers do is they just try the product first. They try it on themselves. It works well on them. They look better. Their skin improves. So they post their before and after on social media for how their skin has improved over time using Hello Glow. They post about the benefits of Hello Glow, the active ingredients in our skin set, and then people start inquiring with them, and then people start buying. So it's really no hard sell. So if, for example, you're a what? Usually it's tawag dito yung is it home tools? So mga Chinese Changdi, ule bue huai, home tools, right? So they can just show how they were able to do DIY stuff at home. Parang nasira yung clock, they fix it with a screwdriver, and they happen to sell the screwdriver, and they happen to sell the metals inside the clock that they just fixed. And they just post it, and then some people can comment and say, hey, I also have the same problem with my watch, and then or my clock. And then the seller, which is the Shangdi owner, can say, oh, this is how I used it, and I'm selling it, and I can give it to you less expensive. Mas mura pa sa house care store, or I can deliver it to you personally. So those things are actually what drove our resellers, what helped our resellers generate income during this time. And it's super easy. And you have a lot of friends on your Facebook, so you might as well maximize your Facebook feed, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's very inspiring, no? I mean,
Sorry.
Ever Bilena went from giving the employees salary to even teaching them how to do business, no? So right now, speaking of Hello Glow, di watang share hogun bo. Sige Hello Glow si Shamia. Like, talk more about the product. Isi Shami kwan cosmetic line, and then kana itweet sige. I guess. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, you can continue. Sorry, you can continue.
Alright. Okay, and then kana din siyong tyo ti sige pandemic season kay release sige Hello Glow package ko. And then naulang ay bet din na distributor inyo nga be avail sige package siya.
So Hello Glow currently only consists of one product, and it's a skin set. We actually first launched it, like I mentioned, in February to our direct sellers. But like traditional direct selling, I'm not sure if you're familiar with other brands. It's really door to door. It's really people going through your house, like with a catalog, showing you what products they offer, and so it's very personal and not very online oriented at the time. So, but we were able to sell actually 50,000 sets in February. By March and April, we sold another 50,000, I think. I think another 50,000 mix. Considering the shutdown and everything, we're still able to maintain the first month's sales. However, by May, when my dad saw how some of our direct selling partners actually utilize it online and were able to generate so much growth from sales of it amidst the pandemic, amidst quarantine, me and my dad were talking about shifting it to an online reselling network versus the traditional direct selling. So you're saying all recruiting should be done online, all marketing should be done online, less the physical, approaches, or the door-to-door approaches. And my dad initially was not so for it because he was worried that it might affect our current direct selling partners. But when we were talking about it, I was saying, pwede naman mag-shift yung mga direct selling partners to the online reselling network. So by June, we launched it. We actually relaunched it to our online reselling partners. So we offered exclusive distribution partnership in different areas in the country, and we were able to sell 300,000 sets that month. So I think that's pretty good for sales amidst pandemic. And so far the market reception has been okay. However, like anything, they always want something new, and which is why we're also developing a lot of new products for Hello Glow, which are coming by next month. And for those who are interested in reselling or distributing Hello Glow, they can always join Hello Glow Squad on our Facebook group, Hello Glow Squad on Facebook. So I don't have much products here with me, but this is like one of them. So it's our toner. I have them here, but okay. And a sunscreen cream. So I just have them at my office, but I do have a lot more at home.
Yeah, actually, when I open my Facebook account and I browse through my feed, a lot of Hello Glow users. No, the you were talking a while ago about the before and after pictures. I see a lot of them. Yeah, I see a lot
Yeah.
of them, and
They really
it
share.
really for me it's really good because it's not hard selling, and it's very results based. No, okay, so it's
Yeah.
very personal. I feel that it's very personal. So it's not like, hey, buy my product. It's more of like, I use it. This is what it did to my skin, and then people will just come and ask you, okay, oh, hey, what did you do? Why did you have that
Yeah.
glow? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So right now we have our last question. Okay. So sama diyo share hogun ko kwa dinti sige pandemic learn tiyo siya ko. And chitsun ti lane new normal yatswe lang yakang ko sustain in E-Sungdi. So diyo siya mi advice po behoin on how they can sustain their business.
I don't know if I'm in the right position to advise other people because I really just do the work for our company. And even with my dad, he always just says we cross the bridge when we get there. While my dad says let's cross the bridge when we get there, for me it's really just managing backup plans in general. And I think one of the things that we really have to look at is it's not downsizing, it's right sizing. So right sizing your business based on your current revenue stream, how much expenses should you be releasing? So we had to cut a lot of our marketing budget. There are some contracts with different agencies that we had to cancel or postpone till next year. And it's really about managing your expenses. Unfortunately, how much expenses can you be managing until you at least break even, right? So at least for us, our profit, our bottom line is still black. But for other people, it could be that their expenses are already much bigger than how much they're bringing in, and they really just have to make sure that the revenue they're bringing in are at least breaking even. It's not even about generating profit right now. For me, it's really providing as many jobs as we can for our employees, bringing in as many people back to work as much as we can by at least bringing in as much revenue that we can. So it's not about growing. It's no longer about growing, no longer about competition. It's really just about surviving. And they can actually explore selling other stuff outside their current product lines. So if, for example, they're selling what do you call them, yung mga hardware, diba? Instead of just selling hardware, they can resell Hengdi, they can resell Lianhua, they can resell anything that's trending online. And then whatever it takes for them to bring revenue in. And it's not embarrassing to be selling outside the category or selling outside your core business. So our core business is color cosmetics, but now we're exploring skincare. And we're actually launching slimming coffees, slimming teas in the next month or by October. So it's really about innovating and seeing where you can get revenue, seeing where else you can help, at least for us, our resellers, generate additional income, and seeing how much revenue you can at least bring in to help keep the company afloat during this time. So it's just really looking at where the market's going. And if you can't see the market, then it's easy to just, research ano ba yung maingay, what are people talking about, go to Twitter, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, what are people raving about. So they can even make their own sushi bake, kahit na hardware, they can sell sushi bake. So it's basically selling anything and everything to help keep the company afloat and to help keep more jobs.
Right. Because at the end, we're all in the same
Yes.
boat, right? Or in the same ocean, right? So whatever your hardships are also our hardships, parang ganun. I think that is the concept that we should have, especially since we're di ba, kahit na parang we have Chinese heritage, we are still in the Philippines, di ba? And we have to help each other out, especially in this parang situation, di ba?
Yeah, and it's really just about working harder than everyone else because the market is shrinking. It's really shrinking. You have less people with jobs, you have people with less purchasing power. So how do you get them to purchase your products when there's a lot of them, for example, who would not buy makeup anymore because they're gonna prefer to buy food. So that means I can't be targeting that segment completely because a lot of them can't afford makeup anymore. So you have to at least create products that them or another segment of the market will be willing to buy, and really looking for ways for people to want your product and really working harder than everyone else because everyone else, I am sure, is working their butts off to make the company work.
Right.
And I think there's really no room for you to lose faith. Like I get really tired. I get so much anxiety sometimes, but I just really focus on the work that needs to be done. And I always say this because you can easily give up. You can easily say I'm so anxious. I'm so tired. But like that doesn't feed families. And a lot of the times people who say those things are those who can afford to live without working too hard, right? And so I feel guilty when I start feeling like I need to give up or I start feeling like I'm tired because I'm like, I have a car, I go to a safe home, I have a good family. So what's preventing me from doing well? What's preventing me from working harder? Especially for our employees who are currently relying on, they're only relying on the company for their livelihood. And I think that's really something people should really think about. It's beyond just the company. It's beyond just you. It's really about helping as many people as we can, especially since life is so difficult right now. We're actually much easier. Diba? We have an office. You're at home. We have internet. Like a lot of people, they don't have access to those things, and then it's really awareness about that reality that will help drive people to work harder.
Right. So before we end, do you have any parting words, like maybe one wise saying siguro that you can impart to our guests?
Wise saying? No, I'm not sure if I'm wise. So no wise saying. Basically, just I think just really understand your purpose in business. So if your purpose is just to make money, then usually it goes away fast. If your purpose is to at least impact change somewhere or to at least keep your family surviving, then you usually work much harder. And I think one of the things I was talking to my ninong about is that I have some uncles and family friends who can afford to actually not run their business anymore, but they do keep it just really for the employees. So some of them, they say na if the company is bleeding and if you can afford your company to be bleeding until next year, then until end of the year, then it might be worth keeping. Pero if you think na in the next year, kapag ganito pa din yung status ng company, you can't survive anymore, then might as well just shut down, cut the bleeding, then provide last minute ayuda or the required parting salaries or closing separation pays to your employees to at least give them an opportunity to work elsewhere to find other livelihood while cutting your losses short. So it's really really thinking about how you can survive as much as possible. So I'm not sure if that's wise, but that's my advice.
But I'm pretty sure it's very helpful. Yeah, I think for me at least, it's very helpful because I mean, what I took away from what you just said was that when you're doing a business, you should have a very clear purpose. Business with a purpose, diba? So it really depends on what you want to get out of it. Yeah. Anyway, so to siya dilay chat igune te sa episode ko of LannangTalks ko. We're really honored to have you here on our show. Okay,
Tosha, thanks for having me.
Then we proceed. Yeah. Thanks for coming. And so then we proceed to then a word of the day ko. So Jen, can you reveal it to us?
Yes. Lana word of the day ko si E-Sungdi. Easy to see. Business as si negosyo. So for example, Di sige sentence ko, ever Bilena e employees, ukay si iyang tiyo. Hello glow, tang zue in kai kie, Sungdi. So this is the word, Sungdi.
Sungdi. Oh, but I've also heard some people welang ko laing siyengdi ko. Are they both the same thing? Or
Yes.
for you, Jen, what do you think?
Yes, yes. So there are actually two variations. No? It's either Sungdi or Shengdi.
Okay, so that's our word for the day. Sungdi and siyengdi are both the same thing to mean the word business or negosyo. Okay, so Tosha di Jen and Tosha di Denise. And Tosha din mga viewers like tune in ko to tige episode ng LannangTalks.
Yes, okay. Stay tuned for Lanswalo Kia episode. Mamboy kidit, like, subscribe, kaya click higa notification bell. Make sure din follow ko na social media accounts. Kita-kits na lang lan. Bye!
Bye! Take two, take two. Take two. Okay, so Tosha din lai cha ko tigo ne first episode. Mali, no, sorry. What hang lai cha tigo ne Teddy sana pa. Sorry. Tigo ne te si episode lako. Unya te sa. Sorry. Sabaw na ako.